Okay. Sorry, I thought I had myself unmuted, but apparently I didn't. Just early morning things. But we will go ahead and get started with our morning session. I know we have a lot of people catching the replay or moving around for the evening session. But first up, I want to welcome you to the full moon circle. I am so glad that you're here, whether you're watching live or on the replay. This full moon energy already feels so calming, so relaxing, and a nice breath of fresh air compared to this fiery, airy season we have all been experiencing. So I hope that you're getting to feel some of that relief as well. If we haven't connected before, hi, I'm Dr. Jade Gary. Just call me Jade. And with me, as always, is Tonks. She's sleeping beside me now. We have most of the animals down here, actually. But I am a Reiki master, witch, energy healer, your own personal hype girl, just all the things. And I love being able to share about the magic of the moon in settings like this. I would love for you, whether you're watching live, you can introduce yourself in the comments. If you are watching on the replay, you can also introduce yourself in the comments and let us know a little bit about yourself. So I wanted to start today with a general tarot reading and see how things are changing for the collective as we usher in this this new full moon. Let's see what the collective needs to know. Whew. There we go. Of course. Of course. Can't make this stuff up. Oh my goodness. Good morning. Well, thank you for joining. You must be, are you in Cali or are you elsewhere? I have a lot of Cali folks I'm connected with, but I'm glad you're joining us this morning. Of course, we got the card of the lovers. Oh my goodness. You can't make that up, you know? This moon is all about relationships and healing relationships. And that's also what's showing up in the tarot reading is the importance of taking stock of our relationships and healing them. This can be any type of Arizona. That makes so much sense. This can be any type of relationship. We have the Seven of Swords, essentially. This often comes up when we need to pay attention to anyone that could be not having our best interest in mind. So back to our relationships. And this can even be yourself. Sometimes we self-sabotage without even realizing it. And so it's time to really look at those patterns and behaviors from ourselves and from other people to make sure that they're all supportive. And this is a huge theme because we also have the Chariot here. We're never doing anything alone in life, including literally moving around, but we're never doing anything alone in life. And so it's important that your support crew, the people pulling your chariot, all have your best intentions in mind. And we are going to be talking a lot about relationships this morning. So it's so fitting that that came up. So full moons. Full moons are really powerful because they amplify what already exists. So if there's feelings of hurt, joy, sadness, sorrow, pain, happiness, it is so intensified with the full moon energies. So it's really important to pay attention to these energies and see what they reveal. But let's take some time to talk about the full moon in Libra and what makes it so special. So like I was already saying, this moon is all about relationships. And we have so many relationships in our life. I think when people talk about relationships, they automatically think of romantic relationships or partners, but we have relationships in every facet, right? You have relationships with your family, you have relationships with your friends, you have relationships with your coworkers, with your clients, with all of these things and all of these people. And they play a big part in our lives, which is why it's so important to examine them. This moon reminds us that we're in the world with other people. We interact with them daily. Their energy gets into our energy. And we all have different missions that we are here to do and to honor. And sometimes we have to really evaluate our relationships to not only make sure they're still good for us, but that they're not holding us back, causing any pain, anything like that. So the Libra full moon is a time to survey your relationships and decide if they're limiting or supporting us. And it's going to be really important to keep in mind too, we all have our individual paths that we're walking, and we want to support them in our relationships. Libra brings a nice addition to this Aries fire because Libra brings patience, compassion, and a willingness to understand people's other perspectives if they're different from our own, their missions, which is needed with this Aries fire. So living with others is not easy. Interacting with others is not easy. But when we approach it with love, it makes this a lot less challenging than it could be. And so that's a big message for this Libra moon. So it's really important that you protect your peace by examining relationships and establishing boundaries and examining any boundaries that you already have in place. Boundaries are really essential to create harmony in our lives. And I think for a lot of us, we weren't taught how to make boundaries. We weren't encouraged to make boundaries. And it's a hard lesson to learn as an adult. I know it's something that I have really been working on. My husband's been really working on. Um, and boundaries are important because without them, and even with them, we allow others to impact our energy, our emotions, our thoughts, and it can cause us to lose control over our peace. It can also make it where we absorb energy from others, and it can make it really painful, right? A lack of boundaries can look like so many things. It can be saying yes when we mean no. It can be biting our tongue. It can look like people pleasing or being afraid of upsetting someone. Um, it can also look like oversharing emotional issues with people who aren't supporting, or feeling like everyone dumps their emotions and problems kind of on you. Um, but often, if we feel annoyed or angry at someone or a situation, it can be a sign that your boundaries are being crossed. And you may not even know that this was a boundary you needed to make because you didn't understand that that is what you were feeling. It also can make you angry at yourself for not upholding your boundaries or for the treatment that you are receiving. So it's really important as you move through this full moon to become aware if you need more boundaries between yourself and others. Creating strong boundaries is actually part of healthy relationships. And when we maintain these boundaries, it helps us align with our purpose even easier and allows us to prioritize our needs while still showing up for other people. We don't feel drained or annoyed. Instead, we can give what we can when we can. Do you feel like boundaries is something that you were really taught how to make? Or do you feel like you get a lot of pushback from people when trying to establish boundaries? How do boundaries show up for you? Yeah, it's not something I was taught either. My parents were definitely big on encouraging mm, like making choices and being strong and showing up for yourself. But conflict wasn't something that was because see, you're getting into my psyche a little bit now because boundaries often feel like conflict to me, right? Because I wasn't modeled that kind of behavior. I wasn't shown how to do that in a way that doesn't feel really icky. And I hate that you resonate, but I'm glad you get what I'm saying. And it's something that I've been working on for so long. And I have friends that constantly teach me how to have these healthy discussions. And I'm so thankful for it. Because it's a hard skill to learn as you're older because people are already used to being able to walk all over you in a sense. And the thing is, the people that are often walking all over us are the people that shouldn't be, right? Like when I think about that, even that personification of myself, like a lot of people would think I would never let anyone do that, but it's the people closest to us that we often let do that. The thing is, it's really important for everyone because when both people in a relationship have boundaries, it creates clear communication, it shows expectations, it allows for compromises. Oh, are you coming over? Tonks is trying to join on her pillow. But they also help us because how can we expect other people to know what we need or what isn't good for us if we're not communicating it, right? I always say that to my husband, right? If something annoys you and you don't tell me, then I'm going to keep doing the same thing for 6 months until you finally like get really upset about it, or forever. Right? And so that's why boundaries are really important, not only for ourselves, but for the people around us. At the end of the day, we don't want to be hurting other people, right? Boundaries also create a good bubble around us to help us center, to I just keep hearing like protect our peace. And when we don't have healthy boundaries, it's pulling all of our energy in different directions. Our emotions can feel unstable, our thoughts can be scattered, can be hard to focus, we can feel really drained. And it also would really help us let the world know what we're willing to take and what we're not, right? So healthy boundaries are, like I was just saying, are really important to relationships, right? When we maintain boundaries, it lets us align with our purpose more easily. It lets us prioritize our needs while also being there for others. We're not going to feel annoyed. Instead, we can give what we can and also receive what we need. And it's really helpful when people in a relationship, both people do this. Having a clear conscience, having good communications, they are all so important. But boundaries do require balance because it needs to protect our energy, but not everybody is always really willing to listen to them, right? And sometimes when we try to establish boundaries, we'll get some pushback on them because people either aren't used to us asserting ourselves or it makes them feel like they aren't in control, when really it should be a good give and take. So some questions to ask yourself. This is a good one to screenshot. But questions to ask yourself during the moon phase is, what of your relationships nourish you? What relationships drain you? Where do you need more balance in these relationships? And where do you need more boundaries? It's really important to assess your relationships this moon, and know that you are whole without anyone, that you are worthy without anyone, and you don't owe anybody anything to be worthy. Relationships also change over time, and that's why these boundaries have to be reevaluated. Something that was working for you and someone else may have worked really well at some point, but sometimes it needs repair. And communication is key to any relationship. And that's why you have to adjust these boundaries and let the moon help guide you in that. So this is the focuses for Libra right now, looking at your relationships, knowing you're already whole. And as painful as it can be, sometimes releasing relationships or expectations that are no longer suited. Of course, this can be really painful, even heartbreaking, but sometimes it's needed, right? So we can move forward. We also have to realize what relationships are worth fighting for and doing the work so they can last. This is all for your highest good and those around you. So let's talk about some crystals that can be really supportive during Libra. Of course, quartz is a wonderful all-purpose stone to have around you. Carnelian is great at relationships, at feeling the fire, and that quartz is going to help calm down with the carnelian fire. And lapis lazuli is going to help connect you to your higher self. It's going to help connect you to your third eye. It's going to be great for thinking and can be really helpful while you are reviewing these relationships. So these are great ones to have around you today as you move through the full moon. So I want to take a little bit of time to do some full moon journaling. and then we will dive into some Reiki. So you can grab a notebook, you can grab just your notepad on your phone, even just taking some time to think through these will be really helpful. And you can also, of course, screenshot these, go back on the replay, and add more time for the full moon journaling so you can make the most of it. So I'm going to show a question at a time and turn on some music. I'll give about 2 minutes per question. That way we have time for some Reiki today. I am going to get some music going too. But here is our first question. Are there any relationships in your life that you need to release? If so, what have they taught you? What is the karma that may have been worked out? And how can we give gratitude for them, but still move on? Okay. So I'm gonna give about 2 minutes and then we'll go to the next question. Yes, it's not good. Everybody's got that chapter. That seems to be a total. So what does a healthy relationship feel and look like? And this can be any and every type of relationship. What helps ground you in the present moment when in communication with another? How can you keep your past out of the present and respond only to what is being discussed? Like really feeling this question. Hebrew teaches us that opposites can coexist simultaneously. So, how can you accept and embrace different opinions from those you're in a relationship with, knowing that sometimes both of you are right? How can you see their perspective more clearly without changing your own? Helps you set and uphold clear boundaries with people. Do boundaries come easily or challenging? I know that those are hard questions for me, but some of like the last part may be easier to start there, which is what are some things that are non-negotiable, even if it feels uncomfortable to state them? And the last question, how easily can you express how you feel? What helps you understand your feelings more deeply, and what helps you communicate them? Did you find anything really revealing while working on these journal prompts? Could be something you probably want to work on throughout the day. I know for me, always communicating my boundaries is really difficult. And sometimes, depending on the relationship, I have a harder time stating my needs. Because that wasn't something that was modeled, and it's something I'm still learning. Yes, it is such an unraveling journey, right? Yes. we weren't taught to express our feelings, or if we did, we were dramatic, or, you know, we were just overreacting, right? And then even to feel our feelings, yes, not effective communication if we weren't always taught how to handle our feelings when they come up, right? So if you're having anxiety or stress or overwhelm, well, how do we effectively deal with those emotions? How do we move forward? How do we effectively communicate when our feelings are hurt and realize it's not that big of a deal? At the end of the day, it's just a 5-minute conversation that's uncomfortable, right? So really lean in to these full moon energies. Spend some time in meditation, spend some time even during this Reiki healing, seeing what comes up for you in regards to these feelings. And know that these are skills we have to work on, right? For these conversations to happen, for us to work on our boundaries, we have to feel safe. Safety is key. And if you don't feel like you can have those conversations, that's something to examine too, right? This feels like such a relaxing and soft moon, but then these are tough things to be talking about, right? So with that, it is time for some Reiki. So go ahead and get comfortable. And close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And know that at this time, you are safe, you are held. And I'm so proud of you for making this time for yourself today. When I am just putting up some protection around our spaces, my intent with this session is anytime you watch it, for this healing to be just as powerful. I invite our guides, protectors, passed over loved ones, angels of the highest realm, to come to this session if they are willing to support us. And thank you for being here. Is there any time you feel overwhelmed, just come back to this breathing, that deep breathing in and out. And just know that you're safe. We'll work our way through all the chakras. Even then, this world is level. Even then, seems dry up and the mountains were dead. The only forever beneath. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and out. In and out. And slowly start making your way back. And let me know how you're feeling after that healing. You saw, experienced, had any downloads? Calm, centered. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I feel that too. I feel so calm right now. It felt really calm. And I thought it was going to be all about the throat chakra today, but it really wasn't. Reiki was like, let me keep you guessing. Ah, I love it. Feels so good. So I do want to share, if you loved this, you'll love the Coven. It is a Patreon membership. And you get access to and discounts to the different moon circles that I have throughout the month. And I'm just going to drop that there. But I also want to make sure we stay in touch. Let me know how you're feeling the rest of the day from this full moon and the Reiki. And what do you feel your biggest takeaway about this full moon in Libra is? Think for me, it's just reaffirming the importance of boundaries and that it's safe to make boundaries and that it's healthy to have boundaries is a really big takeaway for me, because I think people often talk about boundaries as a reactionary thing or a because someone's a problem type thing, where boundaries are really just essential for everyday life, right? Um, yes, they're huge. And I don't think I've ever thought about the Libra full moon in that way before. So I'm glad that we have this calming energy to think about the Libra full moon. Mm. So thank you so much for being here today. It was an honor to guide you, whether you are here live or on the replay. I wish you a happy full moon and thank you for being here. Of course. Have an amazing full moon day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.